very good morning to you all. I hope you guys are doing very well today and you're ready to start your day with me, Maha Makhtoom. It is Friday, it is the end of the week. And as I've been telling you guys, it's been a very long week today because we've had a lot of extra work. But although as much as I love being here and it's fantastic, you guys are the reason I get out of bed. But I'm quite glad that tomorrow is a bit of a break. But today we do have a fantastic show for you. As you know, we like to highlight the cultural events and the situation happening within Pakistan. We like to highlight people that are doing collaborations, people that are showcasing and trying to bridge the gap between Pakistan and the rest of the world. And as you know, we like to highlight the arts. We have music, we have artists, we have all sorts of people from different walks of life. So today we're going to be highlighting what's been happening within Islamabad, what's been happening within Pakistan, and people who are working within Pakistan to explore it and also to kind of show what is happening and how can we move forward. So you have the current situations and also how to evolve as a nation. So it's a kind of a very interesting show. So we're going to get started. I'm going to introduce to you the guest that we have today, and I think it's going to be a very interesting conversation. So we have been joined by an American photographer. He has been visiting Pakistan, and we're going to find out what is he doing, what has he done, and what projects is he working on. We have been joined by Thomas Norris, who is a photographer who has been having some shows in Pakistan. Assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And assalamu alaikum, it's like a automatic thing, so it just comes out to every guest. Besides Thomas Norris, we've been joined by Danish Rahi. He is the author of The Parkish Identity. Assalamu alaikum, welcome back.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
So we're going to have to catch up with you as well, and
Sure.
you're the reason why Tom is here today. So I'm going to start with you. What are you doing here?
Well, I'm trying to do a couple things. So I have this project, it's called Show Humanity, and there's two meanings to that. The first one is that I'm actually trying to show pictures of humanity to each other, you know, like humanity to humanity. And through that, I'm hoping that we will learn to see each other as people. Different cultures can look past our differences and see the heart of who we are and just be able to respect each other.
Okay, wonderful. And why did you decide to do something like this based on to show humanity? Why did you feel there was a need for it?
So I guess like the biggest reason is that I think through the media there's often a lot of over sensationalism. So instead of trying to show people what sells, I want to show the truth and show that there are good people in both places.
Okay, wonderful. Danish, you guys are collaborating
Yes.
kind of on the shows.
Yes.
So tell us about this. What are you guys doing together?
So we actually used to work together in Phoenix, Arizona. We have a work history together. And that's when I got to know Tom, and I was working on my book at that time, The Parkish Identity. And when I saw his work, and he loved traveling and he loves exploring, and I invited him over that, Tom, why don't you come to Pakistan? It's a very safe place, and I can take care of all the logistics. You don't have to worry about anything. And you can bring your show here in Pakistan and show the real face of the United States, which is a beautiful country. And there are some basically different type of distorted perceptions here and vice versa. So you can help clarify a lot of perceptions here that the Pakish people have about the Americans. And that's what Tom did, that instead of the whole Hollywood and all that glamorous image that we have, there are most of the Americans are just like average people in Pakistan. There are a lot of unique similarities, if you would, And then he went out and he shot a lot of amazing photography that hopefully we can see some of it today.
We will be sharing
on the screen.
We will be sharing some
And
images.
so that's how it's kind of, sort of all came together.
Great. Okay, now it's important to show the reality on both sides of the pond. But when you got the invitation from Danish, what were your immediate thoughts?
My immediate thoughts,
You can be honest, it's fine. Just no swearing.
it was exciting, and it just seemed like an opportunity that I couldn't say no to, but I did have my own reservations, and there was a lot of support for me to come over here, but there was also a little bit of fear.
Okay,
and
so let's
that-
talk about this because
Yeah.
this is, I mean, you're showing the truth. You want to highlight that. So what were the reactions and what were those fears? Let's not be so general. Let's be specific.
Right. Well, so a lot of what you see about Pakistan on the news has to do with terrorism, and so there's a lot of fear that something would happen to me while I'm over here, and I guess like that things can happen anywhere.
Absolutely.
So I just wanted to show that it's not like that, and I was taking a chance. This is my first time here, so I
Exactly.
didn't know that.
So now that's the thing. So that's what I wanted to build up on. So the fear was because obviously the news reports that are constantly being fed is that there's lots of negative stuff happening security-wise. So when you finally landed, where did you land and how was the feeling? How's it been since?
There's a little bit of story
There's a
right
little
Yeah,
bit
so
of
let's get the story.
So I landed at Islamabad
Okay.
International, and they lost my luggage.
Oh, gosh.
So starting off, it was a little bit crazy, and but the flight over wasn't too bad. So I don't know. My first reactions were, it's just a new place. It was kind of overwhelming, actually. Just such a cultural shock, and things are so different.
But a positive shock or not?
Yeah, I mean, it's just different. It's not bad or negative or necessarily good or bad. It's just
Different.
Just different.
Okay, interesting. See, I like that. I wanted to get an honest reaction, to see, how people actually see Pakistan and then how they react. But Danish, when you decided to do this and do this collaboration and show humanity and then also the Pakistan identity, how do they work hand in hand? How do they complement each other?
So that's a great question too, because what we are basically working on as designers. At the end of the day, we are designers. We're professionally trained, and designers are problem solvers. They're strategic thinkers. And when we think about these massive, if you would, issues around the world and the West and the Eastern world, that there are a lot of things that people don't understand, and they're very simple things, like people are they're good people everywhere and trying to go about their lives, and one thing about my book is about Pakistan identity is to bring the real face of Pakistan and brand Pakistan in a positive way and use soft power and nation branding. So what Tom is doing right now is that he is in a beautiful way branding the United States of America and bringing it in Pakistan, which is heart of Asia, so it's a very important country. He's here, and that makes a big difference, when you can change perceptions and see a different side of another country, and that helps in your foreign policy, and that helps in increasing your soft power.
Absolutely.
And that's a big deal. Yeah.
Yep. Now, when you were going to the shows, have you just stayed in Islamabad or have you been around?
So I've been taking him around, we have been all over like the Galiat region, Murray and Natia Gully and Changla Gully, and
great.
and Tom had an awesome time there. We stopped in many places, and we are taking pictures of the average Pakish people, like someone selling corn inside of the road and stuff, or coconut,
Okay, so you're just trying to show the different angles of Pakistan because it's not just the cities or the villages. you also
Yes.
have- So what do you think of that when you went up to Natia Gali? Because it's very different to Islamabad.
Yes.
Have you been to Lahore or anything
We
like that?
plan to, so that's
Okay,
where we're going
great.
next. Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be very, that's going to be very
Yeah.
exciting.
Talk
Yeah, I
about
can't
cultural
wait.
shock.
So yeah, I was just about
Yeah.
to say that if you thought Islamabad was a cultural shock, Lahore
I'm
is
really excited.
No, it's a very exciting place. There's lots of history there. Now, when you went up, did you expect places like Natia Gali? Did you expect places like Islamabad? What were what were your feelings on these places?
So these places they're very beautiful and sophisticated, and so it's definitely not what you would picture when you think of Islamabad. In fact, like when I was coming over here, I was picturing like deserts and
Okay.
like, you know, just I didn't really understand what this area would be like.
Okay, excellent. Oh, that's another reason why this show exists as well, to show the
Yes.
rest of the world that,
Yeah.
you know, we have roads, we have cars.
We do.
People aren't riding, you know, donkeys to work. It's fine. Okay, wonderful. Now, so, you know, for you as a cultural shock, it was, you know, an eye-opening experience, and hopefully now you'll get to see, you know, the real, true side of Pakistan. But when you were showcasing all your photographs that, you know, showing humanity and the American way of life, what has the feedback been so far?
Mostly positive. I kind of feel like Pakistanis really kind of understand what I'm trying to do, and they seem to understand America more than I expected them to. And so I think that you know, it's really what I'm trying to do is break down the media perceptions or the media sensationalism.
Okay.
So you know,
Okay, now in regards to this, I mean, you said it's important to show the truth and using, you know, because the media likes to sensationalize. And in Pakistan, you know, we're very guilty of these kind of behaviors within the media. But, you know, obviously in America, it's much more evolved. You know, the media's been established for decades. It's a running machine.
Right.
Within Pakistan, it's very new. Now, from what you've seen yourself, have you been exposed to the media here? Have you been seeing what's been reported and stuff? Or are you just keeping it based on what you've experienced abroad?
just what I've been experienced abroad.
Okay. And now in regards to breaking down, you know, the sensationalism, why do you think it's important for the world or for your average Joe to see the reality?
Because, you know, like these big stories about terrorism or, you know, in Hollywood, these images of like the Kardashians and things like that, they sell, you know, and people want that. So the media is a little guilty of just giving people what they want. But I think in the long term, that's actually going to be damaging, you know. So it just hurts American, the American image that we are this kind of, you know, maybe like overprivileged or just kind of spoiled kind of people when that's not the reality of who we are.
I think it's 1% of your, was it the top 10% or something? I was reading some figures.
Probably like 1% of 1%.
Okay, so we have some images of Tom's to share with you. So let's have a look in a moment to see what kind of work he has done. But we're going to go for a short break. So when you come back, we will look at his stuff. So let's go take a break. Welcome back, everyone. And today we are in discussion with Thomas Norris, who is an American photographer who is here to show humanity to Pakistanis, and he has been joined by Danish Rahi, who are collaborating. So if you guys have missed the beginning of the show, do watch the rest. But now we're going to share some images of Tom's that you have been exhibiting. So let's take a look, and you can tell us a little bit about them.
Okay, great. All right, so this guy, I found him on a Navajo reservation up in Tuba City, Arizona.
Okay.
And he is selling Indian artwork. And
Okay.
Just a very proud man and confident. And, you know, it's a pleasure to take his picture.
That's great.
This is a Hispanic lady selling, you know, she's operating a store, and this is in downtown Phoenix. This is a lady, she's a bus driver, and you know, I just wanted to show services. Like, so I've got a bus driver, I've got a fireman here. This guy has been in the fire department for 30 years, and just a really great guy.
Next.
All right. This man he was waiting for his ride to come pick him up after work in downtown Phoenix. I love the cowboy hat.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, he really came alive for the camera. This is a Navajo Indian, and he's at this place where he's at, there's dinosaur footprints. You can go and actually just walk around and see.
Amazing.
And he'll give you a tour.
Great.
This man, that's him and his family, and he is a preacher, and his family are gospel singers, and so they go around to different locations and like preach and sing. He is a Mexican immigrant, and he works at a tire shop.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a really fun
Just showing
picture.
the reality, day-to-day life of these
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This guy is a bullfighter. So
Okay.
he jumps in front of the bull when the bull rider falls off, and to make sure that they're okay.
Okay.
It's a super dangerous job, but he's really good at it. These guys are, they were spray painting, tagging a fence. And
The
I
equivalent
asked
of Bindi Boys or something.
Yeah.
they were really nice though, like
Yeah.
because they're creating this artwork, and they saw what I was trying to do as a form of art, so they were really
Great.
yeah, really welcoming and accepting of
Okay,
me being there.
wonderful. You know, that shows a very kind of different image to what you are seeing on the films and the dramas. Danish, why do you think it's important for Pakistanis to see this? We were discussing this during the break.
So when you know, I grew up in this country, you know, in Islamabad, this is my hometown, you know, and what I know is that people have a specific type of perception when I say America and count till 3 in 3 seconds. What are the images that pop up in your mind? You know, so
Glitz, glamour.
exactly, as Tom said, Kardashians or like fast cars or, you know, tall skyscrapers, or maybe politicians or something. But there's a lot out there, you know, like it's a huge country, and an average American, as you saw in these beautiful images, that captures the heart of America, if you would. You know, the average people who are you know, just going about their lives, you know, and they have no resentment towards Pakistan or any other developing country or the Middle East or anything. And I think it's very important for the Pakish people to know this and to see, you know, so this whole show brings a unique side of America that is not really portrayed in the media, you know, in the main media, or even in Hollywood. It's not glamorous, you know, but in a way, for me, it is. You know, I can see, you know, beauty in it and elegance, you know. So that's the whole point, and that changes the whole perception of a lot of Pakish people, you know, when they see it, and they go like, there's a wow effect. They go like, wow, you know, these people, they look pretty much like us, you know, we're just average people here, and they're like average people in the U.S., and it brings both cultures and both worlds together. You know?
And also, these are probably images that a lot of people would probably never see or get to experience.
Right.
So it's
Right.
great that they see a reality, kind of snapshot of reality of
Exactly.
people's life. Now, going forward as well, you're going to Lahore next. So what is now the aim? Like, you're going to keep traveling. How long are you guys going to be doing this?
So Tom has a pretty limited time, and there's so much to see. You know, Pakistan, as I said, heart of Asia. There's crossroads of the developing world, as I see it. You know, and there's just so much. You know, so we're trying to just make the most out of it. We have been presenting. We have been going to several educational institutions, talking to the youth, showing them these images, answering their questions. You know. And the goal is to just capture the beautiful images here. So that's the next part.
Okay. I'm going to talk about the
of
projects
of the
in a
show,
moment.
so, yeah.
But before we move on to that, when you were speaking at the educational institutes and speaking to the students, what was the main kind of overall theme that was running? Kind of questions.
The overall theme, questions, people really want to know about the technical sides of photography, so they're really inspired by that. I think people are, they want to know what kind of images I'm going to show about Pakistan.
Okay.
So they're concerned about the image that I'm going to portray, which is something that I want to make sure that I'm capturing like a fair slice of Pakistani culture when I go back.
Okay, so they are concerned about what image is being portrayed. And for you, do you think this is a good sign of you got a good vibe from the youth?
Yes, definitely. I think they were really excited. At first, they don't know what to expect, but when we go through the show, later on, when they see it, they have a lot of questions. As Tom said, a lot of technical questions, because there's many of them are design or photography students. So it's also a great opportunity for them to ask any questions on technical level, and then Tom can answer. Yeah.
Excellent. So it's good that they're keeping in line with their interests and stuff. Okay, so now moving on to once you've done your speaking, you've seen a bit of Pakistan. Lahore is going to be fantastic. Are you going to go to Karachi? Because that will be an experience.
Yeah, we have that. We have certain things scheduled, but it depends how things go here. And if you have time, then yeah, we'll definitely try.
Great. Okay, so now that's this project that you guys are doing together. So now after this, because obviously you are a photographer and you've been to all these places so far, and you've said you've captured images. What is your next project, or do you have something in mind? What are you working on?
So I had this project in mind that came up maybe in the last couple weeks. So I live in Arizona, and mining is like a very big part of the culture there. So I was thinking about trying to document miners in Arizona.
Okay, wonderful. And any projects with your experiences in Pakistan?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Any projects with your experiences in Pakistan?
I think that this project is going to continue. I don't think that it's going to stop with Pakistan. I would like to bring this around the world if I could.
Okay, and in regards to the images that you're capturing, are you trying to capture the reality and the moments of Pakistani people as well?
Oh yeah, I definitely.
Okay, great. So now, what about you, Danish? What are we seeing next? Because there's other things that you've been working on as well.
Yes, and as Tom just mentioned, that the other part of this whole show is that to capture the real image of the average Pakish people, and then take that to the United States. Because just as you see the distortions in average perceptions here, you have that same issue in the United States.
Absolutely.
Like when the people perceive Pakistan, when I say Pakistan to the Americans, the 1, 2, 3, what images come in your mind?
Exactly.
There's a problem right there. And then a project like this can play a huge role in resolving that. So we're taking pictures. We have captured some beautiful images here, and then when they see that, and not only just average, we're trying to capture all because there's so many different
levels.
Different levels of the society. So we're trying to capture a good spectrum of people here.
And not just the images that I capture with my camera and my light. I'm also taking pictures with my phone, and I'm putting them on Facebook. So I have a lot of people following me, and they're seeing just like these images of like these nice restaurants, or like just how welcoming people are, and they're seeing all these things that they wouldn't expect to see.
And what are their feedback? What's the reaction been?
It's just like overwhelmingly, people are excited, and they're really proud.
Great. So you already have your audience for when you take the photos back to America.
Definitely, yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, now, Danish, you've also been working on something yourself. So I don't want to give it away because I don't want to do it injustice. So tell us about this.
So I've been, apart from my book.
Apart from creating the Pakish identity,
Yes.
you've been creating something else to help in the identity.
Yes. So, as designers, we tend to identify problems or gaps in societies or cultures. And one thing have been contemplating was, well, there's no symbol, for our currency. We just put RS, for Pakistan, Pakish rupee, while our neighboring country, India, just recently in the last few years, they came up with a symbol. Turkey for the lira has a symbol now. Dollar sign, we all know, and pound sterling, euro, and yen. And then what about Pakistan? And then being a designer, I felt sort of a responsibility to sort of do something about it, and I started sketching out things. And keep in mind that in the world of design, the simpler it is, the harder it is to actually conclude and finalize something. There's a whole big design creative process behind that. So I came up with a design symbol, currency symbol for Pakistan. This is the first ever design.
Okay, so producers, let's have a look. Let's show our viewers.
So this is what we are looking at. The first ever currency symbol for Pakistan. And there's a whole creative process behind this. And I've studied several symbols, and then I took this from a flag. I don't know if the producers have that image.
Do you have the image of the flag?
Yeah, so there we go. So there's if you can see, I took basically the flag symbol, the Chand Sitara, what we call,
Yep.
and I took the star, and then if you see in C, I took that triangle from that star and kind of used that to create the R for rupee,
Yeah, I saw the R. Yeah, totally.
and
But it also got the S as well.
Yeah, and then the two bars you see going diagonally symbolizes a strength, economic strength of a country, and it is very common, like the bars going through. You'll see that in lira also. And the other challenge was to keep it different enough from the Indian rupee symbol. They also have a symbol, and it's also rupee, and it's also R. So try to keep it different enough, while keeping
So
its
people
own.
can
Yeah,
see the difference.
there we go. So you can see it in between other symbols with dollar, and the last is, I think, INR, which is the Indian currency symbol. And you can see it's very different. Like people cannot confuse it with the Indian.
Yeah, so when you see those symbols, you would know if it's Indian rupee or Pakistani rupee.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is there you go. It's the first ever, and it's you can see it.
And did we get the exclusive for that, or have you already been sharing the image?
So I've been it's pretty much exclusive, but it has been out because I've been presenting, and like kids have been really like on social media. They've been tweeting it, and it's getting out there already.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
And that's always very good to create one's own identity. I think that's what we discussed last time. We're in this kind of confused situation where we're trying to balance the West and the East,
Yes.
past and the future. Great, wonderful. Now, when you see things like this, Tom, happening within Pakistan, I mean, obviously America is in a different state of its evolution. How do you feel like, that these things, because you travel a lot anyway, so I guess you're used to this, but, you've taken a positive experience of Pakistan. What are your thoughts?
I think it's very positive. It's very positive. It's just such a complex culture, and I've felt very welcome since I've been here. Just yesterday, we were sitting down to have some tea, and a guy came up to us. He noticed us and asked if he could sit with us and just to talk.
Okay.
Like no real reason. Like he was just interested in And it was really interesting, and he even offered to pay for our tea, and it was just like, so like that wouldn't happen like everywhere. So it's a real credit to the culture here.
Wonderful. And you know, in regards, okay, I have to ask this question. We are a morning show, and you know, some people do care. But you've tried the foods, you've tried, you know, Danish has been taking you to all the. He's mentioned restaurants. So have you tried the local delicacies or not?
I have.
Okay,
It's
and
so
what are your
good.
thoughts?
It's so good.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
What's your favorite?
The kebabs and the rice and the bread. I
Yeah.
love the bread. I know that's probably not like the most exciting thing.
No,
but
that's a
it's
unique
so
one.
good.
I've been feeding him like the parathas and like and
Okay.
the aloo paratha and
Okay, excellent.
different type of breads, and you know there's just so much, you know, to try. You know, it's crazy.
Excellent.
really is.
So now, when you go to Lahore, what would you like to achieve from that, Danish?
So Lahore, as I explained, Tom, I've been explaining, you know, and you know, we've been just driving around and taking pictures, and I told him like, Lahore is like pretty much the heart of Pakistan, you know. So if Pakistan is heart of Asia, Lahore is the heart of Pakistan, and it's you know, it has such strong history and culture. It's a cultural hub of not just Pakistan, but you can call it the cultural hub of this whole region. You know, that's how strategically located it is. And there's so much goes on over there, and it has historical buildings. So basically our goal is to, you know, show Tom the historical sites there, Minar-e-Pakistan, and, you know, there's so much, you know. We'll see if we can go on the border side, you know, and see if you can get a glimpse of that. But,
So
you know.
like a whole kind of rounded,
Yeah,
full experience.
exactly.
Wonderful. And now, when you know, obviously when this all wraps up and then you want to take it to America, like how long what is the timeline projection for this? So that, you know, people who are interested, they can kind of follow your progression, see what you guys are doing.
So there's a creative process behind it. It's like if you see Tom shoot, you know, these images, you will know how much work goes into it. It's just not just the camera and clicks. It's like, and we had that surprising look, like when we asked people, like, can we take a picture, and they were like, sure, you can take my picture. But when we come with all the gear and the lights and those umbrellas and everything, you know, because these are professional shots.
Yeah.
You know?
So people
So
tend to
yeah,
freeze up a little
exactly.
bit.
So there's a lot of like setup time and everything. So people then, you know, so I think like Tom would be better able to.
I was just about to, let
explain,
me move
like,
on to you. So how do you deal with that? Because I guess the reactions abroad or in different countries is different to here.
Well, there are some challenges. In the United States, I can kind of communicate with people a little bit better,
Yeah.
and I know like the nuances of the culture, so I can kind of pull different kind of reactions out of their faces. Here, I can't speak to most people, so I have to try to use body language and just try to smile and kind of reassure them that everything's going to be okay. That I'm not going to use the image for any like malicious intent or anything like that.
Okay, the way people are so wary, you'd think that they've all been taken advantage of by some photographers.
Right.
Okay, so now in regards to that, how are you overcoming this this hurdle, really? Because it is a hurdle for you, especially if you're trying to capture the true essence of Pakistanis.
I think just trying to explain what the project is for, and I think Dan is able to do that
Yeah.
for me. So it's really just explaining it and not getting in their face, being very respectful. I know that's like a problem with like travel photographers. They're often, they can be rude and just treating people kind of disrespectfully and snapping their image. And I really, that is so against what I'm trying to do. So,
Okay.
yeah.
How have people been reacting?
So it has been, you know, kind of like surprising for me too at times. Like, well, I approach people and they would be like, yeah, I told them like, you know, I just want a picture. Can we do that? And they were like, yeah, take 10 pictures. You know, I don't mind. You know, we'll have tea with us, and you know, it's like, wow, okay, really?
Oh, great.
So, and then on the flip side, there have been like people have been skeptical a little bit. Like they don't know what, like when they see Tom, they don't know where the picture's gonna end up being, you know. So there's like both. We noticed a good variation of reactions, but mostly they're very welcoming. And I explained them, you know, in Pakish that, you know, we're just, you know, traveling and we're taking some pictures and we're trying to show a positive image of Pakistan. And I think you look great, and let us, you know, take a picture. And you know, most of them have been very welcoming in a way. Yeah.
Wonderful. And finally, we have to wrap up the show very soon. But is there any, because we have viewers all over the world, so you have people, actually now we're going on global as well, so we go to America as well, so people in America watch this. But is there anything that you would say to anyone who's considering, who has maybe misconceptions about Pakistan? How can they, or kind of this region, what would you say to them?
I would say you should try to give it a try. Like don't let those images that you see on TV totally persuade you. You should definitely like try to use good judgment, but also don't let fear control you.
Absolutely. And it's easy to say don't let fear control you, especially when the media are pumping images into your home. Danish, because obviously you've been working on this, the whole identity for Pakish people. So what would you like to achieve? Like, as in, what would you say to everyone that's watching?
Well, the one thing I'd like to achieve is the term Pakish getting into the mainstream.
I can see you're really committed to this. I'm trying.
Yeah, and I've already tried that in like social experiments overseas, and it works really well, because over here it's more difficult because people are used to saying Pakistani, which I'm not opposing. It's a beautiful word, but it's for Urdu and indigenous languages, but I'm just suggesting, just like Turkish, I'm suggesting in Greco-Roman and English languages or world languages. So I would like to see that getting into the mainstream, when media reports about Pakistan, and I think that's going to make a big difference in the overall image of Pakistan, and it will help our businesses overseas, do better.
Okay.
So that's one thing. The second thing is the people in Pakistan, on the flip side, start using the terms like soft power and nation branding and those type of things more often in the media, and they understand the importance of these disciplines and intelligent design, of course, which is my field. So that's another thing, and I would like to see perceptions change about Pakistan.
Absolutely. Great. Thank you so much for your time today, and have a wonderful trip, and I really hope you captured the real essence, and I hope people treat you well as well.
Well, thank you.
Great.
Thank you for having us.
And best of luck as well with
Thank you.
capturing Pakish. I think it'll catch on. I think people are kind of finding their
It already
identity
is,
now.
yeah.
Great, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. We were talking about situations within Pakistan, people coming here, trying to bridge the gap and trying to create understanding and tolerance within the world, which is exactly what we need, because there's too much negativity, there's too much hatred out there. So with that, have a wonderful day, have a very good Friday, have a brilliant weekend, and do log on to our Facebook fan page, which is with the name of World This Morning, our Twitter page, World This Morning without the G, our Daily Motion and YouTube page, World This Morning, and the repeat is at 11:05 p.m. tonight. Have a wonderful weekend. See you bright and early on Monday. Bye-bye.